What is Rabat like anyway? Because I hear Rabat is one of the most beautiful cities in Africa. And what is it like?
It felt like if Nigeria had good leaders. It felt like modern Nigeria.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so like I didn't really enjoy it because everything was
just what you were used to. Yeah, very familiar.
Yeah, that was the first place I even saw a church in Morocco.
What were you eating? Did you get Nigerian food or did you have to eat a lot of couscous and all that Moroccan stuff?
I'm not, I would say my palate is not advanced enough for Moroccan food. Let me not speak bad about it.
Oh, really? So did you try?
I tried it. I did not like it.
And is it only... Wow, it's another beautiful day right now for Ginger Pod. Yes, it's another beautiful edition, and today is a bit special because today we have a special guest who has brought a lot of knowledge and information from the just concluded African Cup of Nations. And so my name is Clive Sugar George. I'm the Emperor of the Airwaves, and I'm right here once again on Ginger Pod. And indeed, I have this guy I was telling you about, the special guest. His name is Tunde Young. Tunde Young, welcome back from Morocco.
I wish I could match your energy, but
no, you have to match it. Chop knuckle. Let me infect you with the energy.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wow, it's good to have you. Really, I've actually been waiting for days, for you to come back and give us an idea, what it was like in Morocco. Now, first of all, I think a lot of things that actually surprised people was the weather. Because in the African Cup of Nations, one of the reasons why we hold it between January, February, which is actually the same weather that most of us are used to from December, dry season, we were surprised. It was raining almost every day in Morocco. And then, you guys complained of cold. Tell us, were you also surprised at the weather, or you had already checked the forecast before you traveled?
I knew about it, but I was still surprised. I got it on the 18th, so like people were already there by the time I came, and they were like giving us warnings, especially Fez. That Fez is pretty cold. I had something to take care of in Casa Fez, so I went to Casa Fez for 3 days. Not as cold as Fez, but nothing could prepare me for the Fez weather. It was
so
like
you had to get new clothes, like
yes,
jackets and stuff.
I had my Nigerian sweaters did not cut it. I had to go do some winter shopping over there.
And one of your videos, the sight of snow, and even some of the South Africans use it to mock Nigerians, like, oh, what's wrong with you guys? Have you guys never seen snow in some parts of Africa? So, you talked about the snow, and what was the feeling like when you saw snow in Morocco?
I mean,
and again, other Nigerians like you, were they like what was it? Did it feel like Europe, like actual Europe, or maybe Canada?
It's not necessarily even about the snow. It's just Ifran is a very famous destination in Morocco for that reason specifically, because it's really cold. Morocco is cold generally, but that's like the coldest city in Morocco and probably in Africa. So by the time we had that 3-day stretch where there was really nothing happening with the Super Eagles, so everybody was just,
during the media shutout.
So that was everybody's destination to create some content and have some fun. So it was not the snow was fascinating because we are geographically challenged in this part.
Are we challenged? Well, I think it's even something that we should think that nature favored us, not to have the challenge of snow. Imagine coming out in Lagos and everybody's car is covered with snow and we have to try to shovel out the snow. That's a lot of work.
When I landed in Ikeja, that heat slapped me.
That's another thing. You take the cold.
I'll take the cold every day.
But do you think maybe your skin improved, after spending time in the cold in Morocco? Or you still feels the same? What was the reaction of your friends when you came out, when they saw you? And that's why you say you don't fresh pass.
Normal billing tactics.
Normal billing tactics.
Don't believe when people tell you that. Don't believe. You're good. Your skincare regimen.
Yeah, but do you think we had a small challenge of like what do you call it now? The supporters club not being officially there in official capacity. Some of them made their way there. But, I don't know, do you have an interface with any of them? Like, talk to them? Probably they were also trying to get maybe clothes that can keep them warm. Was that a challenge for maybe Nigerians who were surprised by the cold in Fez?
I had an interesting chat with a member of the Nigerian Supporters Club only agreed to talk to me off the record, which is why I didn't make it to any of my videos.
Okay.
But there was a lot that was said. Officially, there were about 20 of them in Morocco, like the official
That the response of those 20 they got support.
The entire Nigeria supporters club was 20 people.
Right.
That came to it. But the great thing about it was it fell in a convenient time. A lot of people's vacation period is usually towards the end of the year anyway. So there are lots of Nigerians in diaspora just coming in for random games. I talked to a lot of people that came in with their families for just 3 days to probably watch one game in the group stage, watch the round of 16 game, and go back. So that was the bulk of Nigeria's support. Eventually, a lot of official NFF people came too, but they were not supporters. They were there to flex, basically. So,
flexing. What's flexing like in Morocco? Do we have any, like, when we think about Arab countries, we think about conservative societies. Maybe you can't dress in certain ways. You can't hold hands with a lady. You can't even shake some lady's hands. I don't know. But how was it like, being that they are hosting people of different cultures, different religions and ideologies? Did you ever stumble on maybe any red light districts, excessively friendly ladies?
That's the nicest description I've ever heard for that profession.
Of course.
Excessively friendly.
Excessively friendly. Nice. Although you might have to part with 1 or 2 things for that.
Me personally, I was there to work. So
yeah, but did you notice at least? Did you notice anything like that?
My eyes were closed.
You were carrying around cameras.
I was focused on my job and my job only.
So the camera you were carrying did not
but yeah,
take any pictures.
It's not as conservative as a lot of the other Arab countries, especially the ones I've been to. There were a lot of people that were just, there were people that were very Islamic, and there were people that were just free. So it felt normal. I didn't feel anything out of the ordinary. Like, say, for example, on the 31st, the crossover night, we actually went to a club to celebrate it. So it was okay.
Okay, so now, since we're on this subject, how did the ladies react to foreign men?
Again, like I said, every time I approach people, it was always entirely about the work and stuff. So I would not know how they react to.
But no, but did you approach any of the ladies at all? Maybe to ask questions about the games and all that?
Yes, I did, as I did a lot of the men as well.
Okay, so were they receptive? There are some countries you go to and they're like, they shy away from talking to, or maybe they don't show excitement,
they did. They absolutely did. Again, across all genders, they did. They were eager, especially whenever they see a camera or they see a microphone. Even if you are not trying to interview them, there were a lot of times that I was just trying to do some stuff out on the street by myself. Someone will come and interrupt it by yelling.
Yeah, so they were so the Moroccans were very hospitable, very nice, right?
In my experience, yes.
Yeah.
Some people did not have the same experience, so I can't speak for everybody. But in my experience, I did not have any issues.
So you heard that probably, maybe from some other people, that they did not get a very nice welcome when they made some approaches, right?
I know of a person in particular that had like issues. They ran into some issues, meeting some very hostile people. But I'll say that's like a unique experience. It doesn't speak for the entire thing. In my experience, and I was there for 32 days, so like I did not have a single negative experience or negative interaction with anybody. Every time I tried to do content, they were always nice and
willing.
I'm willing. Yeah, across different cities too.
Yeah. So let's also look at the mix of the fans of the AFCON. You have different people all over Africa and maybe even from Europe coming in together for the sake of celebrating the African Cup of Nations. But then it's also a chance to network, to make new friends and all that. There was a famous picture, or let me say video, that we saw, and I think it went global, of a Tanzanian guy talking to a very beautiful Nigerian lady when Nigeria was taking on Tanzania, maybe trying to exchange contacts. I know we had similar shots in the previous AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire. So when, matches are played like that, after the games, do the fans actually mix up? What's the scenario like? Maybe before and after games, maybe when people are going home, people from different countries, most times we didn't hear of clashes between fans, apart from maybe the finals, that it was really bad. So do you think that people actually mixed up, make new friends from other countries?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially before the game. Lots of people, because there's a, it's not, you can't just walk into the stadium. There's a very complicated like check-in process, even when you have a ticket. So you have to stand there with a bunch of strangers. So people interact, and that's pretty much where we do a lot of our pre-game content, because that's where you have the large congregation of fans outside the stadium. After the games, I can't really say it because
the results,
yeah,
you don't turn your belly. Like maybe we'll beat Mozambique 4-0.
Even beyond that, the post-game routine for a journalist is different from for a fan. For myself, post-game is actually when the work really starts. A lot of times, 4 hours after the games, I'm still inside the stadium trying to get content. So it's not
press conference.
I really don't know what the fans are up to outside. But even for myself personally, I met a lot of interesting people. So I believe that if I can make a lot of friends from just talking to people, then of course that's the great thing about tournaments. For me, that was the highlight. The people I met, the people I was able to interact with. Very, very interesting mix of people. For example, the Nigerian Italians that was able to speak to Fede and Luca, the guys that fly in from Italy.
Nigerian Italians,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Italians that support the Super Eagles because they enjoyed what Nigeria did against Italy
in 1994. Yes, I saw that video.
So like that kind of thing, that's what I look forward to.
And they traveled all the way from Italy for that.
Yeah, and apparently they follow Nigeria almost everywhere. I met a guy that follows Victor Osimhen everywhere. He came to the Super Eagles training, and he was even giving access that journalists were not giving, which I was salty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he was in Victor Osimhen's hotel room. He came all the way from Turkey. He said he had been following Osimhen everywhere, trying to get his attention. He was in the training. He was hosted officially by the team. So
okay, so this AFCON presented him with the opportunity to have direct access with Osimhen for the first time.
For the first time.
Despite him following all these years. Wow, very dedicated guy. You know, that's great. But let's talk about culture shocks. When you got to Morocco, or in any of the cities, did you receive any culture shock, or were you informed of any, let me say, social rules or taboos that, you cannot do this here, in Morocco?
I don't know if this counts as culture shock, but the most interesting thing for me was they actually color code their cities, which is very.
Color code? What does that mean?
I've not seen that anywhere. So when we got to Marrakech, we noticed that everywhere was just red for some reason.
Okay.
Like clay red. So I asked a couple people, and they said, "Oh, that's Marrakech symbol. Like every house you build has to be in that color. Even the stadium is that color."
Oh, really? Red.
And then they asked where we're coming from. We told them Fez, and they said, "If we notice Fez everywhere was silver. That silver is Fez's color." And then it was after they told me that I now realized, because I was in Fez for almost 2 weeks. And it didn't even occur to me that every single building here is just silver color.
Okay, so does that mean that if you're building your house, you have it in mind that you're going to paint it according to the city's color code?
I think that's what it is.
So even private buildings?
Every single house, I'm talking banks, I'm talking even down to the stadium, every single thing was following the color code. They told us about another city. We never went there. That was just blue. Like every single thing is over there is blue. There's a green city, and not all the cities.
What is Rabat like anyway? Because I hear Rabat is one of the most beautiful cities in Africa. And what is it like? Does he also have a color code, and what's the vibe in Rabat?
No, it does not.
It does not, right?
Very modern. It's pretty much Abuja, to be honest.
Oh wow.
A very, very busy city. I would say it's where I had the least fun, because it felt too much like Nigeria. For me, it was not a unique experience.
Oh really?
It felt like if Nigeria had good leaders. It felt like modern Nigeria.
Oh, that's great.
So I didn't really enjoy it, because everything was just what
you were used to. Yeah, very familiar.
That was the first place I even saw a church in Morocco. I felt like, wow.
Oh, wow. That also wowed me. So Rabat was the first place you saw a church in Morocco. Yeah. So in Fez, in Marrakesh, in Casablanca, you didn't see a church.
Apparently they exist, but I just didn't see anyone. Wow. I was around a lot. The two major religions are Islam and Judaism. So it's not, churches are not, as rampant as they are here.
Okay, let's look at Nigerians. Did you run into any Nigerians that live and work in Morocco?
Yes, actually, and my stay was made easier by one. Let me shout out to Solomon. He is with a student that is based in Fez, and he pretty much became everybody's food supplier at this AFCON.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with Nigerian food.
I was about to ask that. How did you? What were you eating? Did you get Nigerian food, or did you have to eat a lot of couscous and all that Moroccan stuff?
I'm not. I would say my palate is not advanced enough for Moroccan food. Let me not speak bad about it.
Oh, really? So did you try?
I tried it. I did not like it.
Is there only one?
I did not like
anything. Anything.
There was not a thing that I liked. There's no
Really? Why? Was it bland? Not spicy enough? Here we're used to pepper.
Yes.
To be honest.
I'm not spicy enough. And when you ask for more spice, the spice is kind of tastes weird to me. Again, I'm putting all this on my own palate. I agree. It's me that is local.
No, it's not. You're not local.
No shade to Morocco. I know what. No shade to Morocco. It's all on me. But the food did not agree with me. Luckily, when we got to Fez, we were quickly connected with the guy Solomon, who had been living in Fez for the last 4 years. Apparently, he's a student over there. And he started a food business that really boomed during this AFCON. Exclusively, in fact, boomed to the point that he was delivering food to some of the Super Eagles players.
Oh, wow. So that's the guy don't hammer. The guy will be missing the AFCON now.
Even when we left Fez, he had a big enough customer base that he was delivering across states. So he would reach out to people and know as many people need food, and he would pack like a truckload of food across states. A
student, and he has that kind of business in Morocco.
Yeah, so he was definitely one of the most interesting people that I met in
so what kind of food was it really? Is it jollof rice? Is it egusi?
Jollof rice and stew, swallow.
What kind of swallow?
There's something that looks like semo, but apparently it's not semo.
Okay.
They said it's Moroccan.
So he didn't have semo.
Didn't have semo, but he had something close enough.
Because I would have been very, very surprised if he had Nigerian swallow.
He did, like to be honest. Gary is quite scarce, so he has a bar, but it's really expensive because according to him, Gary is quite scarce.
Like how much?
Like 100 dirhams. So I do normal food is 60 dirhams.
100 dirhams if you want to eat eba, right? Mm-hmm. The 100 dirhams in Nigerian currency would be like.
It's like 17K.
17K.
Yeah.
Okay, like how many meats would be in the soup?
Uno.
One meat. Mm-hmm. And eba. 17,000. Jesus Christ. Okay, that was an experience. So I'm sure most people did manage with the Moroccan swallow. That's wonderful. Do you guys find any suya there? Because
no.
But that's crazy because you can find suya in London and all that, and I'm sure barbecue is something that the Arabs, also have in their culture. So why did somebody not take advantage of that in Nigeria? Yeah. Or is it that we don't have a lot of Nigerians? Because we know when we played their Congo for the World Cup qualifying playoffs, they told us that the DR Congo had the highest number of African expatriates living in Morocco. So do you think, we had a healthy number of Nigerians living and working in Morocco?
Not that I know of, but according to people that are there, the majority of the Nigerian population is based in Casablanca. And I didn't spend a lot of time in Casablanca. I was in Casablanca for like 3 days, so I didn't have time to explore. And even by then, people had lost interest in the tournament anyway. So according to people that are there, you'll find a lot more Nigerians. Even call it Lagos, you'll find a lot more Nigerians in Casablanca. Apparently, there's a Nigerian community over there.
In Casablanca. So maybe that would, if the Super Eagles were based in Casablanca instead of Fez, I'm sure you wouldn't have struggled with some of the food
But Fez is very remote and far from everywhere else. So at least a 4-hour train journey. From Fez to Marrakech, when we went for the round of 16, it was an 8-hour train journey.
8 hours
from Fez to Marrakech for the round of 16. So it was.
That's a lot of time, though. I wanted to ask you about the transportation. Like, how was it like? And I know the Super Eagles will fly, but
They didn't always. They actually bust quite a few times.
Oh, really? So the logistics now, because we are also thinking about how Nigeria can host Africa again. No, we've done it before. Why would I laugh? Stop. No, we've done it. He said, stop. Did you not do Ghana, Nigeria 2000? Did you not do 1980?
Yeah, yourself. That was 26 years ago. And you still did another country.
No, it's because we wanted to help Ghana.
Hey, man, stop it.
We wanted to help Ghana. That's why we co-hosted with them.
All right.
How big is Ghana? Can Ghana host? Okay. But seriously. Seriously, we have stadiums. All we just need to do is to renovate them, right?
Oh, okay. Let me give you a bit of context.
Okay.
All we need to do is to renovate at least 5 stadiums. Where we've not successfully renovated one, we have essentially have only one functional stadium right now that can host the Super Eagles, which is the Nest of Champions in New York, and even that one is getting a bit beat down. Our Pride Jewel is like 30,000 capacity. The stadium we played in Fez is not even really a football city like that. It's a 48,000 capacity stadium, ultra modern, with 5 training complexes inside it. And they didn't even train in any of those.
5 training complexes?
Inside the stadium. And they didn't even use any of those for the Super Eagles. The Super Eagles train in a separate training complex that had 10 pitches in there. And that one is not a stadium. It's available to the public. So we are so far. It's not even just about stadium. We are so far in so many things. I don't think that we have the interconnectivity. I don't want anybody to kidnap Neymar or something. We
hosted some of these guys before now. Did we not host the was it under 17 World Cup? We hosted Nigeria 99. We hosted the 2009 under 17 World Cup and some of these players who later blew. The one Switzerland won in Lagos, yeah.
2009.
So, yeah, but in that was my quarrel with on Twitter with the idea that Bayelsa wanted to build a stadium or they are building one. It's 22,000. I'm like, can we stop all these small capacity stadiums? Because if we do 40, 50K, if we want to host a competition, it will be easier for the government to say, okay, this state.
No, you have a lot of faith in this country. And I have to look.
No.
I believe
if we are willing, I believe we can do it.
We
just need the will.
Hey, man.
I think we should start. We seem to have a sports-loving or a football-loving president now. So if he can...
Did we change presidents since I was last year?
No, see, the 100K we give people recently. And the Super Eagles have their houses delivered to them. You know, some of the 94 guys did not, some of them died before they got their houses delivered to them. So at least this government is baby steps.
Look at what we are bragging with in Nigeria.
No, baby steps, but indeed we're improving, right? So let's look at the transportation, which has brought us to this year, unbelief in what we can do, like hosting. No, in Africa, I'm not talking about World Cup or like Nations Cup, like AFCON. That's what I really mean.
We can't host the National Youth Games
in Nigeria.
The only thing I was just stick to Big Brother, man. It's fine. Like some people are like, I don't think you can't do everything. Accept it.
Tunde, you're not being nice.
Accept your level.
Show some belief. Join your faith with mine so that we can amplify it. But anyway, let's look at you talked about the train ride. You were in an 8-hour train ride. What was your experience like, And being that you have covered games in other countries, so compare the movement, the transportation for people like you who went to cover the AFCON Cup of Nations, and then the fans. What was the transportation like? And then the train ride, because we have trains in Nigeria too. So the trains in... Why did they laugh? The trains in Morocco...
Can we reach an agreement that you will not mention Nigeria one more time?
But we're in Nigeria. We're Nigerians.
All right, no worries.
Okay, so the train ride, was it? What was the experience like?
Transportation for in terms of movement around, I think it's probably for journalists not the best, because in Ivory Coast, for example, there were shuttles for journalists everywhere, so you literally did not spend on any transport at all. But in Ivory Coast, in Morocco, no. But for the fans, it was actually much better, because in Ivory Coast, the fans were complaining about no shuttle, and they were having to spend exorbitant amount of money on their own transportation. But in Morocco, you pretty much have to just present your tickets and you get a train on the day of the game. You present your tickets anywhere, you get a train to wherever the game is, including destinations that are like 10 hours away. Agadir, for example, is a 2-day train journey. If you want to watch Senegal, if you want to watch South Africa, who are based in Agadir, you can get a free train there, and it's a 2-day journey. So it was great for the fans. But journalists not so. I didn't go there expecting free transport anyway, so my expectations were not dashed. But I think for the fans, the transportation was much better than the last AFCON.
Now, was it expensive, the transportation? Was it exorbitant or?
It's relative. It was what I expected it to be. It might have been expensive.
What did you spend more on? What
definitely
what
food.
cost you more?
Definitely food.
Okay.
Definitely.
What about data, internet? Do you have free Wi-Fi in the stadiums?
No,
because in our stadium in New York, for example, you cannot connect. Once you enter there, no internet. So as a journalist, you can't even send
you want
out.
to host it.
You can't even. But I'm thinking it's deliberate. Maybe they don't want people to stream.
No, it's
because
not.
we're in an era of streaming and content creation, and then maybe there's a dedicated broadcaster, so they don't want you to do that.
Oh, you really believe in this country? So,
No, but
you
really,
believe that not only do we like have the technology to you believe that we can actually jam the network for everybody because of a football game?
How can
Why?
you explain why journalists? I've been to you
Because
to
the network is trash.
cover the Super Eagles. Is it the network that is trash? But you cannot send a WhatsApp message.
Yes, because like there's a large concentration of people that are using that same network at the same time. It happens even in Morocco. It happens like we use the media center network except on game days, because on game days everybody is on it, so it won't work. So then you resort to your own personal network. The difference is that it's a civilized country.
So if you resort to your own personal network, would it work?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So why can't we? Okay.
Not you be this.
Because even our own personal network will be work for you.
I don't know what.
It's crazy. But all right, so let's look at security. You are carrying some really expensive camera gear, you know, and maybe your stuff going around. Did you ever feel unsafe?
No.
At any point?
No, but I also was almost robbed one time. But
tell us about it.
I generally did not. It was not even a real robbery.
I'm sure you were on hyper alert because you are from Lagos. That thing follows us everywhere.
That's a stereotype. You are right, but it's still a stereotype. But I was outside the stadium, like trying to get a ride home because, like I said, we always stay very late after the game. So it was like 3 a.m. I was trying to get a ride home. I was waiting for the rider to come, and this group of guys on bikes, just passing and trying to snatch phones. So I was just,
really?
I was looking at them. Like, I go to Computer Village, bro.
You see, you said it was a stereotype.
Yeah, it's
well,
still
your experience, your experience has also made you look at, well, this one is child's play now.
Yeah, but
you need to see my own area, you know.
I like moved around freely very, very late at night. In fact, I preferred. For longer train journeys, I prefer to even go at night. So
there were no areas that you were told to avoid? Because when people get into a country, like they'll tell you, okay, avoid these guys, avoid these guys. You can avoid those who are posing to just need your help. They might just be, or people who hug you in a very friendly way, they might just be picking pockets and stuff. You guys were not told to be extra careful about stuff like that.
No, although, again, Morocco is not heaven, so I'm sure they have.
So
I'm sure they have dangerous neighborhoods.
I'm sure they have dangerous neighborhoods, of course.
I'm sure they have people with bad intentions, but me, I didn't expect anything. Not to brag, but I'm not a very robbable guy anyway, so I'm not worried about Moroccan robbers.
All right, so it's been great really talking to you. But what did you learn? Or your highest point, as far as that coverage was concerned, you're being in Morocco. What was the high point for you? What happened that you think would take you back to Morocco? Would you like to go back to Morocco because of this or that? And then you can also tell us your, if you had any low points. That's apart from when Nigeria lost the match, but yeah.
Low point was definitely the weather in first. There was a time I genuinely had to stop working and ask myself, what am I doing here? Why am I in the cold? My hands are freezing. I can't type my phone. I was trying to edit the video. My hands were literally shaking. I could not. I was like, this thing cannot be that important. Maybe I should just go and cover it from home. People are coming from home do not die. So but other than that, it was smooth sailing. High point, the final. I genuinely believe it's one of the greatest games of football of all time.
I think so too.
And I'm glad that I was there. I would not have forgiven myself if I missed that.
And I'm sure you saw things that, the cameras could not catch. Because even till today, because everybody has a different camera angle. We're still seeing things that gives us a different context from how we saw them in the heat of the moment. So what was it like when that penalty call came and everybody went haywire? We saw videos of Senegalese fans jumping down, fighting stewards and police. What was it like?
It was exciting, but also scary, because I'm pretty sure I saw somebody die. In fact, there was one guy in particular. I was like, "There's no way this guy did not die." Shout out to you if he did not die, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Oh, wow. Shout out to him if you know that, but I'm pretty sure he's there. Moroccan or Senegalese, or do you know where it's from?
Senegalese. But again, in all seriousness, respect to, I think according to reports, at least 2 people died from that altercation, and about 20 more people in prison, which I'm sure they are not coming out of it anytime soon. Because it was a very, very violent display, which football should never get to that level. Ultimately, yes, protest. I like the fact that they didn't take it lying down the way Nigeria did. But
yeah, because I think the Super Eagles would have been more gentlemanly about things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I'm reserving my thoughts on that. But being in the stadium for that, because you never really know what would happen. There were random fights breaking out. The Moroccan journalists, who are supposed to be like the civilized people in society as journalists, now started becoming even more hostile than the fans. You could not, they were attacking people that were celebrating Senegal's goal. So like you could not.
Oh, the Moroccan journalists were attacking?
At that point, they were letting everybody know that this is not the time to, it's not the time.
Journalists?
I wore my Nigerian jersey so fast, bro. Nigeria, like.
Okay, you wore it fast. You didn't want to be mistaken for Senegalese.
I might look Senegalese to someone.
Yeah, because you're looking at you now, you don't look like Mane to me. You look like Sadio Mane.
Thank God, I had to identify what my so there were altercations breaking out everywhere. There was a particular guy, one of the fans, a Moroccan fan, I was just attacking a steward, and I needed police intervention. So a lot of things that did not even make it on camera. People were focused on what the Senegalese fans were doing on the left wing of the stadium. But on the other side of the stadium, I was able to get a really, really good shot of the Senegal goalkeeper protecting the tower from
that's Yevan Diouf.
I really, really love that. So I was just looking around to see what else was happening. There was random things happening, and then we were told by CAF officials to, as journalists, stay in the stadium at least for a while because they are fighting outside. So I never saw that, but I didn't. So, but that's what we were told. So we were in the stadium till like 2 a.m. Nobody could leave. Everybody was just in the media center. The Moroccan journalists were livid.
They walked out on Pape Thiaw. They walked out on Senegalese coach Pape Thiaw when he came in for his press conference. They
didn't only walk out. They walked out, then stood at the door and consistently disrupted the press conference, which is why the CAF media officer had to end it and say he doesn't feel safe and had to take Pape Thiaw out the other door. So it was shocking to see because if fans do that, yeah, they are emotional, but you are journalists, bro. Like we are professionally trained.
If you know, like after the match, you know, did you apart from what we saw on TV, did you hear of maybe fights in the streets outside the stadium?
Yeah, like I just said, we were told, I didn't see.
So you didn't see. You were told that things happened.
We were just told that people were fighting outside the stadium. We should wait, stay put in the media center, don't go out, so that everybody will be safe. But we heard about it. Even up until the following day, trying to get a cab was a mess because nobody was stopping for you because you look Senegal. Nobody is stopping for you to pick you to the airport. And even the cab that stopped for me asked me explicitly before I entered, "Are you Senegalese?" So
if you were Senegalese, he wouldn't pick you. Right?
I don't know, but I assume that's what he asked. So he asked me, "Are you Senegalese?"
Yeah, if you are Senegalese, Baba, they trek. They go. Well, okay, so this feeling that CAF might have been very, very soft towards or be amenable to Morocco winning the AFCON. Do you think there's any substance to it? In all honesty, you are back home, so you really can't speak.
Yeah, it's not about being back home. It's about being a journalist. As a journalist, I can't accuse people of things without having.
No, but did it feel like that? Because a lot of people have said that.
Absolutely, it does feel like.
They would have preferred.
The preferred option would have been for
Morocco to win.
I mean, the script was perfect. First AFCON in 50 years, the one you host, the one that is objectively the best AFCON in a long time. Like from organization to the structure to the broadcast, everything is the most expensive AFCON of all time. The prize money was tripled from the last AFCON. So Nigeria got $15 million for finishing 10. So like there was a lot of money involved, and it's also from their protest, it felt a bit like. The Moroccans felt betrayed to not win it, almost as if.
Well, betrayed, but they didn't score any goal that was disallowed.
Almost as
they
if
had a penalty. In fact, the script was even perfectly written for them. They were lucky enough to get that last kick of a penalty, and Brahim Diaz decided to, Panenka
at this up until I left, is persona non grata in Morocco for now.
Yeah, they actually attacked the social media page and they are reminding him that his mother is Spanish and you are not really fully Moroccan. That's why you don't know what it means.
If he leaves social media, in real life, the team photo, like the official team photo, after the final, the team went to visit the prince. They were hoping to do that. It was already scheduled, that's why they did it. They were hoping to do it as champions.
They went to visit
the prince.
The prince of Morocco, yeah.
But it was put at the back of the team photo. And
Brand mean that he's supposed to be at the front.
It was put at the back. They let it, like they weren't. They
don't really want to see him. They're just being civil.
Trying to see him at this time. So, which is crazy because he was actually a poster boy. Anywhere you go on any billboard, you see Brahim Diaz, Hakimi. Always those two on every billboard. And that's something that I feel like they do better than Nigerians, which is they brand their players properly. The players are represented by they are representing the top brands in the country, from water to telecommunications to whatever, the most minute things. You just see a Moroccan player's face on it, and it's usually Hakimi or
Brahim Diaz
or Diaz. So it's someone that they were really proud of up until that moment. So
they put him behind. So does it mean that we are even nice in Nigeria? Because I guess we've been nice to Chukwueze, right? Like we're angry, but we've been nice later. And we'll not put him at the back, like of the picture.
No,
if they had come back to be received.
It's penalties, anybody can miss. Of course, the ridiculousness of your miss adds to the criticism. But at the end of the day, it's still penalties. I think Chukwueze's criticism has been unfair.
People felt that probably because he was in good form from Fulham, and even in the first few games we played, and later on he didn't have game time anymore. So that when he came in, he was like, man, now that he puts me, that kind of feeling. I don't know if there's any truth in it, or if we don't just have very brave penalty takers. Because you see the way they did against DR Congo and, that match against Morocco. But again, we're gradually wrapping up. What was the pressure like when we faced Morocco? Because I think that's unique. You were there for the finals, but you're Nigerian, so you were not Senegalese. But you were Nigerian when Nigeria took on Morocco in that semi-finals. What was it like on that day? What was the pressure like? If Nigeria had won that match, would you guys have been able to come out and go home safe? When he entered penalties, was there tension of any kind?
There was tension.
And caused security concerns to Nigerians there. And you guys were few.
Of course, it might have. I don't like accusing people of things. So, most like PTSD from Ivory Coast. The Ivory Coast final, there were people that Nigerians that were praying to God that we did not win that final. Leading at halftime 1-0, you could not step out to go buy food or buy something from the concession stand. The Ivorian journalists were telling you to sit down and shut up. Don't celebrate, nothing. So that PTSD was already there. So by the time we played against Morocco, 65,000 people in the stadium. 60,
Nigeria is up to 2,000?
I don't think we're up to 1,000, in fact. 61, 64, because it's not about Nigeria that are in Morocco. You can't buy tickets. The thing about this tournament, and that's where CAF really messed up, a lot of the tickets for all the games were already sold out before the tournament even started. Because Moroccans bought in advance with intention, especially for the important games, intention to attend if Morocco makes it, and if they don't, then resell. So they were hoping that lots of tickets for the Nigeria game were selling for as high as $1,000. I spoke to somebody that said he knows of something. Okay, so this is a third-party gist. I can't confirm it, but he said he knows of someone that paid $1,000 to watch the
But when tickets are scarce, even in Europe, it happens like that. People buy tickets, hoard it, and sell at triple the original price or even more.
Yeah, so like you said, it's normal, but it was also the factors that led to Morocco being pretty much the only country in the start in that Nigeria game. The noise, I've been to many football stadiums in my life. I have never heard anything like that noise. And I thought I was tripping. I asked actual professionals. I asked Daniel Amokachi about this. He would not talk to me on camera because he's contracted to BBC. So he can only talk to them. And the same with Sunday Olise. And they told me that this is the most hostile stadium they've ever been in. These are two ex-internationals. So that if ex-internationals are telling you that we've never seen anything like this, so you should know how incredible it was. The noise was crazy. They did not relent. The game was 120 minutes long. I've heard fans like boo players. I've not heard fans consistently boo players for 120 minutes. Like every time Nigeria touched the ball.
So they constantly booed the Super Eagles for 120
I am telling you that they never stopped. Like there was no break. Even at halftime, they were booing players that were not on the pitch. They were booing when the Super Eagles players pops up on the jumbotron or something during warm up. Boo. When an advert pops up with Osimhen in it, a calf advert, boo. They didn't care. As long as you are in Nigeria, they can see you. Boo, and it's all in unison. So like I have to commend them for it. They really stamped them what's home advantage.
There were some dark arts, including the towel snatching. Now it's raining in your country, and you know that wet balls and wet gloves will bring about the ball slipping from the goalkeeper's hands. You know, a higher probability of a goalkeeper not being able to firmly hold on to a shot. Now, it started with Nwabali's, that's when we first noticed it. Maybe they had done it before the Nigerian game, but then, Nwabali kept his towel and boom, some boys came and took it away. And then for the Senegal, it happened more than once for the Senegal game. What do you think of such? Because I think Nigeria, if we were to host something like that, we are too gentlemanly. We would maybe just, no, don't do that, it's against the rules of the game and all that. But I want to know, what do you think of that underhand tactics and including this consistent booing and all that? Like the kind of things they did to try to aid their team to victory.
Yeah, so it's a thing with North African countries. Every single advantage they can derive, every single thing is an advantage. Like it's something like a towel now, you consider that inconsequential. Like it's a towel. Like why are you taking the goalkeeper's towel? And who are the people taking these towels? CAF accredited
ball boys
and volunteer stewards. Like these are people that are accredited by CAF to be neutral parties to do their job to maintain the integrity of the game. And they were taking towels from the keeper and doing all that. But if you are familiar with African football, if you watch CAF Champions League, if you watch CAF Confederations Cup, this is what Nigerian teams face when they travel. Abu Aziz, former Imba player, was telling me recently about how their experience when they went away with Imba, and they sprayed insecticides. They basically fumigated the dressing room on the day of the game. And
so you guys can breathe.
They only did it on the day of the game. They only fumigated their own dressing room. They put them in shabby hotels where you will need 3 hours to even get to where you will train. So every single thing is that they try to make life uncomfortable for you. And I don't want to talk down on Nigerians because we don't do this, because we are not supposed to do this. I actually think that that's one of the few merits of being a Nigerian, is that the fact that we don't see the point of doing things like this. So when people say, "Oh, this is what Nigeria should have done," I'm against that. Nigeria
to play fair.
Nigeria are doing what we should do, which is play fair, be good hosts.
And Morocco won the Fair Play Award. Are you in support of that?
No, not at all. What?
Of course. I was shocked too.
Of course not. That was one of the
I made a video about it.
That was one of the most shocking decisions of the night.
I'm telling you.
In the press box, because everybody was still in shock about the final, but they were just putting up the awards on the jumbotron, and then everybody saw Morocco Fair Play. We were asking each other,
how?
Is that a mistake? Yeah, because we could not believe what was going on, and then Hakimi came up to collect the Fair Play Award. Okay, I guess maybe they get your money's worth at least. So it was, from the fans' perspective, I think there's a thing we can take from them, which is, yes, within the bounds of the game, Nigeria should do more, or Nigerian football supporters, Nigerian match goers should do more to emulate them in terms of create an hostile environment within the bounds of the game. Don't take anybody's styles, don't fumigate anybody's dressing room. But
at least the booing
is within the bounds. Nobody will
and
talk.
The cheering of your team.
Yes, because we are actually terrible at home because of this. Because first things first, we don't have a home. We play.
We could even start booing our players. That's one of the funny traditions.
There's no advantage to playing in Nigeria. That's probably why the players play better outside of Nigeria. That you already play on terrible pitches here anyway. And it's not like the home crowd is giving you any special support. It's just a lot of Nigerians in the crowd. They are not necessarily cheering you on or whatever. They are doing their thing. So, but when these guys play away from home, they know they are away, and the pitches are most likely better. So, like, we should do that. For most games, we get to yield to 20-something thousand. It's never full, but at least it's almost full. There's no reason why we can't create a similar atmosphere. There's no reason why we can't be in unison. And it doesn't even have to be because the entire Moroccan chant is led by a small sect of the fans. They sit at the cover. I forgot what they call their.
Are they like the ultras?
Those are their. Those are their ultras. So they are the ones that start the chat, and then everybody just takes it. So if they start anything, then it just spreads around. So like it doesn't have to be. Everybody doesn't have to be in on it. It doesn't mean you need 30,000 people that are from the same supporters club. No, you just need people with the same mentality, which is we are coming here to support our team and to make life difficult for our opponents within the bounds of the game.
Within the bounds of the game, yeah, that's something that he has emphasized, which I also support. Well, we're wrapping up now on Ginger Pod, but I will not forget that you were in the VIP stand. You watched the game from there. What was it? Did it feel different? Did you enjoy it better being in the VIP box, seeing the game? And then you tell us generally about what you think about the facilities of Morocco and all that.
All right. Did I enjoy it better? Yes or no? Yes, because I was much closer to the action. I was literally pitch side, so that is always better. But no, because in the media tribune, we have free food, we have free internet and all that during the games. In the VIP box, they just assume all of you have money, so they say that. So they expect you to go and buy things. So I came here on a budget. I'm not buying anything. So
how could you get things in the stadium normally? In our own stadiums in Nigeria, I just see people hawking things, going out. You see people carrying water, carrying something, and they're moving up and down. But we didn't get to see much of that in Morocco. So how did you get to maybe get food? Could you leave at halftime or?
Yeah, you can leave at that time. You can leave during the game. Each entrance has like concession stands where you can go in and buy stuff.
So it's not really a long walk, right?
It's just literally before you enter, whatever your section.
But why don't they allow them to do the Nigerian style of hawking these things? Carry your pure water, the waka pass, sweet, chewing gum.
This is how you want us to host Africa.
It's our own unique way, my brother.
But for the facilities.
Yeah, facilities, yeah.
Yeah, no. The 4 stadiums I was in, top notch. They were top notch. Very, very good stadiums. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I like the fact that there is no one way to do things. All 4 stadiums look completely different. There was no stadium that looked like any stadium, and they were all very good stadiums. So it's not like there's no one blueprint. Just have your own unique identity and do something world class. Each of them had great facilities for media. Their media centers were all very good. Their press conference room. The Rabat Stadium even has a separate press conference room apart from the stadium. Usually it's inside the stadium, but they have a separate one outside of the stadium, huge facility, and it's only for press conferences. So like the amount of money that they spent, they didn't do that to host just one AFCON. Let me just tell you that one out.
And that's why you're talking about giving them 2028 AFCON. And they're also going to be part of the co-hosting of the World Cup in
2030, along with Spain and Portugal.
Yeah.
The Club World Cup in 2029. They're hosting the Club World Cup in 2029. They want to host the AFCON again in 2028. So that's a ridiculous run. They've already hosted the last two.
The 2 AFCONs, yes.
And they're hosting the third one.
The third one, I had to.
So, like, they clearly have a plan when they built these stadiums, when they renovated them to world-class standard.
And they've not won there, although we thank God for them, they won the Under-20 World Cup. So they've not won in their home soil. So that's why, they're a bit aggrieved.
The AFCON 2025 would have just been the crowning achievement. It would have been the crescendo to a story that started 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they put together a 10-year plan that they wanted to take Moroccan football global. They wanted to be the best.
And they're doing it. Yeah. They're succeeding, just that they are not really winning.
Yeah,
but they are hitting milestones. Finished 4th at the World Cup 2022.
You see what can happen when you actually have foresight and planning instead of saying just hoping that we can host.
Okay, but with your experience now, what you've seen and like what you said, they had a 10-year plan. We can even have a 15-year plan, a 20-year plan to host the AFCON, or the World Cup.
I think for Nigeria, what's more realistic is a 200-year plan.
Kilo Shele.
So when our 200 years now reach, we will now do a 100-year plan with a new committee.
No.
To figure out why the 200-year plan did not work.
Wait, if we have a 15-year plan.
To do what? Bro?
To host back-to-back AFCONs, a World Cup, just do what Morocco is doing now.
This is what I said is even tricky.
Countries change. How many years did maybe United Arab Emirates?
You know why I'm being triggered on what you're saying. When I landed at the airport, they literally took lights at Like that was how I knew. That was my welcome to
reminder.
Nigeria moment.
So-
Like light literally went off. I was waiting for my bag, so the carry thing was moving up and down, and light went off. And he said, you should walk around. I'm looking for your bag. I said, that's Nigeria, I guess. So that's what you want to use the host.
No, in 15 years, the light will be stable. Yeah. Anyway, it's good to have you here. Finally, when these boys, Adema Lukman and Osimhen quarreled, did you guys get to see them make up? You know, did they really make up? Because Sunday Olise has now come out to say something that quarrel kind of affected the team chemistry. But from close quarters, you saw trainings and all that. Do you think before the quarrel and after the quarrel, were they able to come back as they were before the quarrel?
To the human eye from afar, it did look like the quarrel did not do anything. I don't even think it was a quarrel. If you play football, people yell at each other.
Just yelling, yeah.
I don't think.
But you don't think it affected the
I do not think
chemistry?
so. But again, maybe Sunday Olise has access to the team. Of course, he does. To the team more than I did. But I do not think so. The vibe was there up until the end. Even the third place game that I did not play, we went to the pre-match training, match day -1 training, and everybody was just joking around. Everybody was. They were actually freer with the journalists on the last training. Maybe because it was the last training, or maybe because they just didn't care about the third place game. But they were much freer. They were joking around.
They were in good spirits.
They were in very good spirits. So I don't think it affected anything. Sometimes let's learn to take our L.
Okay.
We lost. It's fine.
We lost. It's fine. Tunde Young, thank you for being here. It was great talking to you on Ginger Pod today. I'm sure from time to time we'll get to see Tunde Young, share his experience. Very, very experienced journalist. He has gone around many places. So when he gives us his insights, you can take it as gospel. So thank you for joining us again today on Ginger Pod. It's been Clive, Sugar George, and Tunde Young today. And more interesting times will be coming, on Ginger Pod. So subscribe, like the page, share, tell everyone about Ginger Pod. We have good things for you always. Have a great day.